Greetings everyone, welcome to Chess Advance. This is game 4 of the total 6 match between Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura, and whoever wins in the semifinals goes to face Ali Reza in the finals. And as I showed you in the last match on game 3 that I showed on my channel here, Hikaru Nakamura was able to play a brilliant game with the King's Indian defense and actually trap Magnus's queen and won the game to level the score. Magnus was up as he won game 1, so this is game 4 and Magnus has to strike back, and that too with the black pieces, so it's not going to be easy. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Hikaru starts with d4, d5, c4 and e6. Going for the queen's gambit decline, we have knight to f3, knight to f6 and just g3. Going for the Catalan opening, and we have bishop to e7 but just here bishop to g2, and we have castles and just a5, just b3. But here in this position, just going for b6, and we have the c captures, e captures, and just knight to c3, and here bishop to b7, and here just going for bishop to f4, and we have this rook to e8, but here just rook to c1. The Catalan bishop is active, but here in this position you have to understand that the main objective of Catalan is to push that c4 pawn. If you are able to get that c5 pawn to be pushed, you have achieved everything you would want from the opening. So here just knight to a6, but trying to maybe add an extra just defender to that pawn, and here just knight to e5, but here just going for this h6, not allowing any bishop jumps or anything, and here just bishop to d3, knight to d3, and here just bishop to f8. Just playing a very solid structure here, Magnus. And here just h4, but just going for the c5, just going for the just going for that c5 thrust that is supposed to be there in the Catalan opening. And we have d captures, b captures, and here in this position just going for knight to a4. And you can see these knights are looking absolutely insane, because these knights, once they jump to the position, you're gonna have to start giving up your bishop pair. So here just rook to c8 by Magnus, and we have this bishop to e5 by Hikaru. We have knight to e4, and here just going for this bishop to e2, bishop to b2. This bishop to b2 is not a good move, because you can understand this bishop is going to be locked in after Magnus plays that d4 move. So here what you want to play is bishop to f4, and here after a move like d4, now you play this e3, just trying to challenge those central pawns. And here after knight to b4, just that knight jumping, you first play e captures, and here after c captures you play rook captures, bishop captures, and rook to e1. So now that knight is under attack, but you have to understand that that knight can move to a very nice square, which is this knight to c3, attacking the queen. So here knight captures, we have pawn captures, and you already have created a pass pawn which is on c3. It's going to be very dangerous to play, but it would have been better than the alternative that's we are going to see now. And bishop to b2 by Hikaru, and here in this position just d4, just closing up that diagonal, and this bishop has nothing in this position. Now bishop to a4, trying to go for the other way around, but Magnus plays the absolute best move, which is this knight to b4, just getting that knight into the play right away. We have bishop caps on b4, c captures, but here just rook captures. We have queen captures, knight to f4, just trying to solidify that knight. But it's like, every move that Hikaru plays, you can see that the engine drops further into Magnus's favor. And that's right, this is an inaccuracy. The best move in this position was knight to c1. And it's very hard to see why this knight to c1 is better, because here after queen to d7, you play queen to d3, g6. But now here knight to b6, attacking the queen, and now once the queen moves, you play knight to c4, and your knight is in the game. And here after h5, now you play this king to h2, and after rook to e6, now you play bishop to h3. After f5, now you play bishop to g2, f4, and after g captures, queen captures, you play king to g1, and after queen captures, it's for queen to h3. And only now, with all of these defenses square, keeping an eye on this pawn, it looks very scary. I mean, with the queen being here, knight being here, I mean, this just looks very, very painful. But this is the best way to play in this position. But Hikaru, avoiding all of that, goes knight to f4, but now comes knight to c3 and attacking the queen. So we have this bishop captures on b7, queen captures, and just going for this queen captures on d4. Now it might seem like Magnus has maybe rushed in a little bit. He has given up the d4 pawn, but it's all fine, because here knight caps on e2, and we have this knight captures, rook captures, and here just going for this queen to d8. Now this is pinned. What you would like is just go for here and here. So here just going to be rook captures on a2, Magnus grabs the pawn, and we have knight to b6, attacking the knight to b6, and here queen to e7. But here just going for this queen to c8, because you want to play that move, and Magnus has to avoid that. The absolute best move for Magnus in position was rook to d2, just trying and avoid that, because if that comes, that's going to be very much difficult to play with, because this will be the queen and the bishop will lose their mobility. And here after queen to c1, you'd play this queen to d8, and after knight to c4, you play rook to d3, attacking that pawn, knight to e5, attacking the rook, but just rook to c3, attacking the queen, queen to f4, and here just queen to d5, and here after rook to a1. And here now you want to push this a4, and after rook captures, you play rook captures on b3. Now you have a pass pawn, and you're completely winning. But here Magnus went for this rook to b2, and here just knight to d7. Now you have to play rook to b2. So rook to b2, knight captures on f8, queen captures, and if you trade, it's just a lost position. So here just queen to f5, but here just queen to d8, and here in this position just goes for h5, and here queen to d5, and here just queen to g4. but now just finally pushing that. First the first king to h7, rook to a1, and now going for this beautiful and now you understand that this captures cannot come because this would be lead to checkmate. You're gonna have to sacrifice your queen. So here just what you have to understand that b captures was played, but now just b3, and here after a5 just b2, and here just rook moves, but now the only moves queen to d3 was played. And here after when Magnus played this a4 move, the crowd started growing crazy, and the home team Falcon Hikaru is from the Falcons, so home team Falcon, everyone was cheering for Magnus Falcon, so everybody was cheering for Hikaru when Hikaru was winning. So here, once Magnus played that a4 move and his victory was secured, he started shushing the crowd, and that's why he's the GOAT. So here, after queen to d3, Hikaru Nakamura resigned the game, and here the scores are again in Magnus's favor. Hikaru has to win the next game to force Armageddon, and it's going to be very much difficult. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll be coming back once again with the next game of this. I think the next game was draw, so I'll be coming back with the with the sixth game where Hikaru would have to win. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll be coming back, so stay tuned in the channel, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you all.